Hi guys, today I have a tiny orchid haul for you. It's been a while since I last bought orchids because I had a lot. I don't have enough time sometimes to look after all of them with my work life, family life and everything else. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And on top of that, when we buy online, we buy from nurseries, they are amazing. We have a range of orchids to choose from, but we also have to pay for delivery, shipping, and all of this can be costly. So I am trying to not spend so much on them this year. If you don't know, there are some advantages of buying orchids locally as well, and that's what I want to explore today. Not only talk to you about some of the plants that I found locally, but also explore some of the advantages that I find when I shop locally. So if that's the type of content you would love to hear and to know a little bit more, stay here on this video and let's look into these beauties together and talk about where I found them, their price, their availability, and what I look for when I'm shopping for orchids locally. Let's start. Before I introduce you all of these beauties, I have some beauties here as well. This one I bought locally, by the way. And also this one I bought locally. So I don't know if you can see if they are on frame, but these are all plants that I found locally. First of all, where I find these orchids. How I look for them. So every time I want to find an orchid, or hybrids especially, it's really rare and really difficult to find these species locally. If you want to find a species, go from an orchid nursery, a reputable nursery. I love hybrids. I have lots of different hybrids, and where I find these hybrids, I usually go for local flower shops. I have a flower shop that's very close to my house. I didn't find any orchids there this time, but I do have orchids from there. I also go to local garden centers, so I visited 2 garden centers these days, 3 actually. That's where I found 2 of the orchids. And the last one, this one, I found in a supermarket. Some supermarkets here in the UK, they bring perfume, Phelanopsis. I've also bought in Ellie Island in one of the supermarkets, and they can be cheaper. I know that they are mass produced. However, if you're gonna take good care of this plant, it can last for many, many years. And also you may save money because some of these can be cheaper. They can only be cheaper because, again, they are mass produced. So they come from these big companies. It's not something that we are helping a small business. But I know how costly buying plants in specific places can be expensive sometimes. So if you want to start with something and looking for different type of hybrids while you're still learning, I think local supermarkets is the first place and the cheapest place for you to look for. Talking about flower shops and garden centers, local flower shops, usually the owners are part of the community where you live, and it's a way for you to give back to your community as well, to encourage small business, which I fully support. I think it's great that we have a small place around here as well. These plants, usually they go on sale, especially when the flowers are gone. Usually people are not very interested in orchids without flowers. That's a very important tip. So if you want to get a cheaper orchid and you don't mind, because the flowers, they will come again, look in flower shops and garden centers for orchids without flowers. Go to the sale section of the garden center or the flower shop and look for plants without blooms, or maybe dehydrated plants. Sometimes you can get a very good deal. That's how I got part of this tiny haul that I'm showing you. So if you want to find cheaper plants, when you go to the sale section, it's amazing. And on top of that, you don't pay for shipping. So these plants won't be stressed in the process of being packed and shipped to you. They have already been stressed because they have been packed and shipped to the supermarket or to the garden center. You will have a first look at your plant before you buy it, so you know exactly what to expect. If you understand a little bit of orchid, you can look at the root system, see how they are, and then you decide to buy them. And one of the main reasons why I decided to do this small haul, because I want to buy some new orchids. I lost a few this year. I want to repot them, I want to look after them, and I couldn't buy online because last haul I bought 2 orchids, I think 2 Phelanopsis, and it made us spend like £50 or more, because even buying plants here in the United Kingdom, the delivery, costs, I don't know, maybe £5, or some nurseries, they charge you like £15 for that's their delivery fee, and I completely understand why. I know how hard it is for you to pack the plant, send the plant and all that. I've bought from nurseries before and I'll definitely buy again in the future. But this time I really want to buy my plants locally and show you what I got looking around. We are in summer here in the UK. Usually if you want to find oncidiums intergenerics, Miltonias, ideally you should look for spring or autumn. These are the 2 seasons where you probably will find more diverse in this sense. I've never seen a Cattleya here, not in London, at least in garden centers. Maybe I haven't gone to the right place yet. Never found a Cattleya, sadly. But I found other types of plants, so I'll tell you a little bit about them and what I got. It's not an extremely diverse haul, it's a small one. So the first one, there is a garden center, it's called, I think, W6 Garden Center. It's very, like 20 minutes, I think, driving from my house here in London. They always bring different types of orchids. At least it's not the same Phelanopsis that we see in most places, especially here. So sometimes I go there. I used to have a friend that worked there as well. A long time ago, I have many orchids from this place. This time I went there, and I always go to the discounted section of the garden center, because when these plants are in bloom, usually they are much more expensive. This one is a classic Paphiopedilum complex hybrid. Is the sort of the American hybrid, I think, and it's that big flowered type of Paphiopedilum. I do have other American hybrids, but the leaves of this one is very different from mine, so I suspect I didn't have this one yet. That's why I bought, and also it was £9. It's a big plant, it's a healthy plant, so I'm sure I will be able to save it, and I will have beautiful Paphiopedilum flowers. None of the other ones that I have bloomed yet, but I'm sure the way that the fronds are displayed and the texture of the leaves, they are different, so I'm confident I don't have this one. And I think the price was, let me just remove that. I paid £9, let's see how much. I think it was like £40, £50, something like that. So as I said, go to discounted section or discount sale section of the supermarket, garden center, flower shop. You may find interesting things. If you live in the UK, also I found in another garden center near here some Paphiopedilum Pinocchio as well for sale. I've seen many more Paphiopedilums here in the UK that I've seen in the past for any reason. I know that we do find some Paphiopedilums, but now I've seen them present everywhere. So very good for people that love Paphiopedilum. And now everything's Phelanopsis from now on, and all complex hybrids, but I love them so much, and I will start telling you what they are. So I went to this garden center and I found these 2 Phelanopsis. They are tiny dolls. Tiny dolls, I think, is a hybridizer in Europe that created these tiny Phelanopsis, which is great because they produce a ton of flowers and they will go in small pots, so they don't need a large space for you to keep them. So I love tiny Phelanopsis, that's not a secret. This one is kind of, it's like a purple one, but it's like a cool tone of purple. I used to have this one before. I don't have the tag, but mine died, unfortunately. I think it was thrips as well, so I lost mine. That was a gift from my husband, so I don't have it anymore. So this one was on the discounted section as well. When I saw that it had 1 flower, I said, oh, this one I want to replace so I can have it. So it was £6. It's not extremely cheap. As sometimes we can find maybe in supermarkets. I don't find things are very cheap here in the UK anyway. Nothing's cheap at the moment, so wouldn't be different with orchids, but I did find it for £6, and I'm so happy with my little one. and I can't wait to grow and to be able to rebloom this one. And just to let you know, the pot is full of roots, which is quite good and very promising. This tiny pot, I'll repot them soon. The next one, it's one that I've seen as well with other people, is also a tiny doll. I paid full price for this one because of the flowers. The flowers have some dots that is botrytis. That's a type of fungus or fungi that goes on the petals, sepals of orchids when we have splashes of water on it. But the flowers are doing okay. I have some bud blasts in here. Maybe because of the condition, this pot is very tiny, and I have some roots that are dying here. This plant has less roots, although it is full of flowers, but the root system is not as good as the other one. The leaves are very similar. It's a very compact Phelanopsis. Why I chose this one? Because I love this beige white background with this golden lip. I honestly love that it has like a yellow golden center with the splashes of white. That's why I chose this one. I find it very, very cute. I love this Phelanopsis. I paid $12.99 for this one. So both of them together was 20 pounds, I think. And the Paphiopedilum was much cheaper, was £9. So I paid less for that big Paphiopedilum that I paid for this Phelanopsis. I don't know why, but yeah, people are crazy about them because they have beautiful flowers and the flowers last for a long time, so they are very popular orchids. And the last one on this video is that cutie here. Again, nothing that you probably haven't seen something similar before, but why I chose this one? I got this one in a supermarket actually. I don't remember the price. I think it was something around £9. It comes with the decorative pot, the outer pot. Why I chose this one? Let's see if you can guess. Although the flowers are very similar to other Phelanopsis that we see around, the pink is a very common pink. The shape of the flower is very, very common as well. But I couldn't resist to the white lip. I haven't seen this one before, and I love the contrast of pink and yellow on these flowers. I think they are so bright and beautiful, and I couldn't resist. That's a new one as well. I haven't had this one before, and I don't have time for any of them because they are all hybrids. So I think the tiny dolls are easier for you to identify. If you go to their website, you probably will find them. It has a good root system, so the pot is wet. I just water it this weekend, and I wait for this one to lose its flowers before I repot it. I can see this one is healthier than the other two. It is in a larger pot as well, which makes a difference with a different type of mix. The other two are in the type of cocoa peat, so very, very tiny seedling type of mix. That was everything that I bought together. That's why I start holding this plant since the beginning of the video, because I want to show you. I spent in total like £40, so that's why I went locally, because also I found it quite exciting sometimes to go and look for different things. Before I conclude this video, how I look for the orchids that I buy. That was one of the questions in the beginning. Usually, when I go to these garden centers, I start researching and discovering garden centers locally that they are known, or that I know they bring different types of orchids. So for instance, the first one that I showed you, the Paphiopedilum, I've been there before, and I know that they are known for bringing different type of orchids. I saw them selling Prostichias, I saw them selling Paphiopedilums, I saw them selling Zygopetalums, and also sorts of Oncidium intergenerics. So because I know that they usually bring different type of orchids from, I don't know, each 3 months, for example, I can pay a visit to their space and maybe I'll find something in sale like I found this time. So if you go to your local flower shop, you may find different type of plants in there, or you may realize they bring only certain types of plants that are not up to your taste. So that's what I usually do. But flower shops, they tend to bring different things according to the season, which is great and amazing. To think about supermarkets or grocery stores, how I look for orchids there. Usually if the supermarket has only the large flowered type of Phelanopsis, that's not up to my taste. I don't have enough space for them, and they are not my favorite orchids. I discovered that over time. So if that's up to your taste, you definitely find here in the UK, most of them, they will have big flowered Phelanopsis. So that's the first thing. I will look for usually small Phelanopsis or maybe different orchids. That's very rare, by the way. Small flowered Phelanopsis, I have lots with pink flowers or purple flowers already. So these are not the ones that I'm usually looking for. Only when I see a completely different pattern that I don't have in my other Phelanopsis. Something else that I will look at are the leaves. The leaves have any sort of pattern, if they are mottled. I don't know if they are variegated, so I know that these orchids have some chance to be something different, and I love to look for different things. And the mottled leaves one, usually the flowers are perfumey as well, which is quite special. I look at the petals and sepals. If they are waxy, there is a great chance that your plant is gonna be perfumey again. So I look at these signs, and more important that the color, feature, amazing, super special to have something different. I love to have different Phelanopsis, but you need to look to the quality of a Phelanopsis in garden centers or in supermarket. You need to inspect the leaves and check that if you don't have any rot, the top leaf are brown, black, or if you have any rot coming here on the central axis, if you have roots inside the pot, if you notice that the leaves are wrinkled, a little bit strange, and you pull your pot and you don't have any roots, you have greater chance to lose your orchid. And these orchids, they are not healthy. If you wanna try to save them, go for it. But if you're looking for a healthy plant, pay attention to these signs. They are really, really important. It's gonna be easier for you to work with a healthy orchid than an unhealthy orchid. So these are like most of the signs that I look for. These are most of the things that I know that I like. Another thing that I forgot to mention is, I think I've already mentioned the color, but I usually go for contrast of white and yellow, or maybe some brownish spots. You know, this kind of stuff that are a little bit different from the conventional Phelanopsis, because that's the things that I like. So discover your taste, and I am sure, start shopping locally, you will find things that are up to your taste, and hopefully they will have a cheap price as well. Orchids are not the most expensive house plants, which is amazing, and they can brighten up my environment so much, and they made me really happy. I love these ones that I've bought recently. I look after them nicely. Fingers crossed they will be able to rebloom next year. And this one I will keep it like that for now, but the other ones I will repot soon when I bring it along. That was my small haul. I hope you have enjoyed that. If you did, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye!